We recorded it 2 times. We recorded it on set. Yeah. When we did the scene, a very long scene, I recorded it with Martina, and we had a playback during shooting the scene. And the second one was after finalizing editing. Then we met again, and we spoke about this, how it shall sound. And I decided I wanted to, you know, these Buddhism mantras, and I wanted it in the same way. You must think about the situation of this woman. She's isolated, she's alone. And when she starts writing her report, it's close after she had a great catastrophe in her life. And so it's a mixture of sadness and a mixture of hope. But she has to dig it out of the sadness and bring it into light, as well in her face as in her voice. And it took not so long, maybe 5 weeks we were recording. Because this was because Martina came to Vienna, where we studied, and then she had a pneumonia, and we had to stop it and to interrupt, and then we finalized it in Berlin and in Munich. First in Munich and then in Berlin. And so it took 6 weeks.
And most of what was used in the final film was the stuff that you recorded after the shoots. Did much of the on-set recording make it into the final cut?
I think there are only two takes in it. What I did was when when the voice broke of Martina, I said to the sound engineer, come on, let's record. And I said, please, once more, Martina. And if you listen to it, at the beginning, when she speaks about her fear and her hopeless situation, I had this part, this record with the broken voice.
It's scratchy and croaked.
Yes, it's very croaked, yeah.
Well, you talked about the qualities that you wanted from the voiceover, and you talked about the hopelessness, or the sadness and the hope. I got the sense from the character that she doesn't allow herself to feel any one emotion too much, because if she had too much of the sadness or the hope, she would have gone completely stark raving mad.
That's correct. That's what the woman has to manage. She can't be too happy and not to be too much in her despair. And she says it when she talks about the first winter and how she spent the gloomy afternoons of the first winter. She says, this is very dangerous for a lonely living person like me. And thanks God I had Lynx the dog, who kept me away from committing suicide. And so I want to have these feelings in the sound of the voiceover. You must hear all this in the way she speaks the voiceover. But Martina Gidek immediately understood what I wanted. And so it was a great joy to work with her.
You would expect in a situation like this, most films, I was thinking of films like The Shining, and also there was a film, 1408, with John Cusack. Mm-hmm. These films that deal in extreme isolation and solitude, always the character ends up going completely crazy. And I did spend much of your film thinking, is this going to happen? Is she going to tip over the edge? And it never happens. I found that a very interesting choice. It makes the film very different in this regard.
Yes, because this woman recognizes that she has to transform. She has to change what was very worthless in her life, and what she has to change, her relationship to the animals. She was never aware of this, but here she knows this is her only chance. She has to take care of the animals, and the animals take care of her, especially the dog. And so I thought in the end, when she has this transformation to, even there was this great catastrophe, she knows there is something new coming to her, and she doesn't know what it is, but as long as she has something or someone to take care for, she will not be lost. And that's why I think the end is not a happy end, but it is a light happy end. And I wanted each people, every people who are sitting in the audience in the cinema, to find their own solution, how to survive if you one day are in great isolation, because this can happen to every one of us. I'm sure it will happen to everybody of us on a day who is hopefully far away from us, but this day will come, the day when we die.
Let's hope so. Tell us about where you filmed, the specific location of the houses. Did you have this place in mind for a while, or was a production designer somebody who tipped you off and said this is where you should go? Tell us about that.
Lynx, he's my dog, yeah.
Oh, right.
And he found it. Yeah, it is in Upper Austria. It's called Gosausee, and it's close to a very beautiful mountain called the Dachstein. This is the glacier of Dachstein you can see in the film. And I was walking around and looking for a location, and Lynx decided to go to the left when I wanted to go to the right, and I very often follow him. We have a gentleman agreement. 3 times I follow him, and 3 times he follows me, and 30 times I follow him. This is our gentleman agreement. And I followed him, and he brought me to this huts and to this hunting lodge, and it's all original. We didn't change. We didn't. The set dresser didn't make anything different to how it was when Lynx found it, and that was very important for me. Very important for being authentic, and that was the lack of following Lynx, because maybe he knows better the way than I do.
Well, I hope that you gave him an associate producer credit on the film as well.
Yes, he
for
can.
finding you such a perfect location. And getting the permissions to use that location, to use the house, was not an issue for you?
Well, it took a long time till we got all the possibilities to shoot there, because it's a very, very famous place in Austria, and there are many people coming and watching now this place, and it's really an extraordinary place. There are some strange energies there. When you sit there, close your eyes and just listen to the sound of the woods, you can feel coming energy out of the earth. And that's maybe what you feel in the film. Because when you sit there in the hut and starts to write a report, the first sentence in the novel and in the film is, today, the 5th of November, I start writing my report. And I wanted to start shooting on the 5th of November, but I couldn't manage it. But I could manage that the scene, when she's writing this sentence, was shot on the 5th of November. And it was really great to sit there and to watch this woman writing and the darkness outside of the window. This was very, very, very
fantastic authenticity. And she's trapped by this invisible, inexplicable force that doesn't let her leave the country. Was this all mime when she was banging against the wall that obviously isn't there, or was there some kind of material? It's probably the sound design that just makes it feel so solid.
Yes, it is. You know, I think if you are a filmmaker, you must love secrets, and there is a great secret all over the novel and all over the film. So the secret is, what is this wall and what does it mean? I think it means to each person in the audience another thing. Marlene Haushofer, she writes in her novel, the wall was a little like frozen air. And I tried to let it look like frozen air. But how we arranged it, this is a secret.
Well, I think that's a wonderful place to end, keeping secrets and letting the audiences discover the wonderful secrets of your film.
If you come to Austria, go to Upper Austria, go to Gosau. It is a very mythological place, and you will never forget. It's really great.
I have a list of locations from films that I'd like to visit and making my way through them, so I will add that to the list.
Oh yes, and when you come, contact me.
Absolutely.
And I'll join you, and we'll go around the sea. And
we'll take Links with us, of course, and we'll let him lead the way.
Fine, please.
Julian, thanks ever so much. It's been a great pleasure.
So much. I thank you so much, and see you again in Gosau.
See you again soon.